That's us.
All right, welcome into the banter show. No. So this is the Shop Class Podcast. We're having a casual night. We're going over the presentation we gave at the NJTEEA last weekend, which is the New Jersey Technology Educators Engineering Educators. What is it, Timmy? Association. And the banter is real. So no, jokes aside, here we go. Let's see.
I sent you the schedule to continue our conversation.
Okay, so we're gonna go into the schedule now and just look at what was presented. I don't have it. Oh, there we go. No, this is not it. You got to send it again. But I do have photos, so I can share those. We're going to present our presentation to you and show us what we did. Basically, we went to the Tech Ed conference and we represented the Shop Class Podcast. A lot of cool people, right? Everybody was psyched. We had t-shirts, hats. I've got hats and t-shirts for you guys. They're in my car. I need addresses and sizes.
Bloomquist, I have his.
Okay.
Sweet.
Yeah, we got new stuff.
When I mail out your stickers, Bloomquist, you'll be getting your shirt and hat.
Perfect.
And okay, and this is Todd Benedier. Todd it provided. Oh, so there. This is Todd who provided the solar panels for the project. Matt.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome. And he's providing training. Here's Jason. He's been on the podcast before.
Oh, yeah.
And we also got, Frank Cacavel right there. He was there. Lots of people were there. It was awesome. Let's see. Shop teachers, everybody was coming in. And now, Tim, who's this? She's been honored before, right?
That's Sherry Roses. She teaches down the shore in New Jersey. What school district? That school district is huge.
Okay.
Where she's at. They have like
for like 40 or 50 years. Come on.
Yeah, she's been teaching like 35 years, and I think she's responsible for like 50 shop teachers that are currently in the teaching.
Wow.
She's had 50 students go on to be shop teachers.
Dude, no way.
I have like 6 or 7. She's got 50. It's some insane number.
I think I got 0. I don't think any of my kids became shop teachers. I got one.
Yeah,
okay.
I got at least one.
Nice. Well, that's the biggest problem, right? They're facing is there's no shop teachers. I mean, why would you want to be a shop teacher when you could just work in industry and then you could probably do your alternate route, you know? But I mean, I went for school for product design, which it's kind of like being a shop teacher. We just kind of came up with ideas and made stuff, you know? Remind me again who this is, Timmy?
That's Sherry Roses.
Oh, no, that was the previous one, right?
Oh, I'm sorry.
You went back to the future.
That's Tara Deck.
And she's on the board, right?
She coordinated the conference. I went to college with her.
Oh, wow. No kidding. She's awesome. She's always supportive.
Yeah.
She's going to kill me for not remembering. Sorry.
Ron, why do you have all the pictures? Usually Tim's the one getting the pictures.
I don't know. He didn't share it to my drive. Yeah.
I didn't really take, I mean, I took pictures, but I didn't really take pictures.
He's busy soaking it up.
I was out, you know, shaking hands and kissing babies.
After you get that picture of Larry Holmes, you said, forget about it, I'm done.
So this is where we did our presentation. And
hold on. Time out. Sherry Roses she's from Howell High School, which is part of the Freehold Regional High School District.
And Howell's got that cool hydrogen project from years ago, right?
Sure.
Okay. All right. All right.
I don't know. Maybe I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, there was a lot of people coming into the show here to the booth. I gave away a lot of stickers.
We had 250 stickers to give away.
Yeah, they're pretty although I gotta check. Maybe we still have some left. I
have some still.
Mm-hmm.
You ended up with
See
the majority of them.
Any on bumpers yet in Jersey? Driving through traffic?
I know, right? That'll be
Truck
awesome.
windows?
Mr. Joe Herr, my woodshop teacher, he just put it on his computer. So I passed by it and I was like, oh, cool. Like, it's cool to see it. This room, look at the ceiling height. It was insane.
But it was super hot in there.
Yeah. Yeah, it was but let's see. Maybe we could get you guys signed up because Todd Menadier was signing up people for training. And Frank already did it. Did he say what it's like, Tim?
No, I didn't talk to him about it.
Okay. But not for nothing, but the price of the conference is high. And they really need to get it down to encourage people to come, Just bring all the tradespeople in. Just bring them to the show,
What do you think the price was?
Oh, it was $225.
What, to be there? It was $175 if you were a member, but if you weren't a member, it was $225. So I paid $175 to go. Well, my district paid $175.
Ours was, we got early bird for 100, regular 125. You still have to be a member. And then on-site was 150. Non-members 160, 185 on-site, $200 does not include meals.
Ours included unlimited breakfast food, bagels, donuts, muffins, coffee, water, and then we got a full catered lunch with sub sandwiches and salads and stuff. I thought it was good.
Yeah, they gave us lunch. It was from Mission Barbecue. So it was good. But their breakfast, it was like bagels and like your cream cheeses on a table, you know what I mean? And then they gave us like leftover pizza from the night before. Cold pizza.
No way. At breakfast?
Yeah. There's like a pie just slapped down on the table. Take a slice.
Yeah. You can't eat it up. It's just cold pizza.
It's cold pizza.
Oh man, that's too funny. Yeah, the food is fine. It's just that I can't imagine what it costs to be at that Rutgers place. I just don't think it's necessary. I think they should have it at the cheapest possible place, maybe at a school where they charge nothing, and just drop the cost of the thing and invite more people, more volume. They got to run an experiment. Maybe next year. They're getting kind of cushy with the Rutgers thing, but I don't know what the benefit is. We're not getting Rutgers students. They don't even have a program, right? Do they have a shop teacher program?
I have a makerspace certificate.
No.
Yeah, so there's no program, so I'm not sure why they do that. But I guess that's it's a harsh criticism just coming out like that. But I do think that it deterred. There are shop teachers that wanted to go, and when they heard the price, they were like, forget that. And not every district pays for it, So it's kind of an issue. But I'm going to talk to Nick about it because he kind of said at the end, I don't know if he had a couple beers, but he said, open to criticism. I'm like, all right, here it comes. So I'm gonna call him and just be like, all right, look, I don't know what you guys are doing, but I understand it's hard to run these events, but you might want to bring it down. Henry Ford, bring it down. If you go upscale, that's great. If it's a lawyer firm, if you're, you know what I mean? If we're all athletes, but we're all teachers, and who wants to spend an extra $200? Yeah,
but I don't think the cost of the show went up that much over the past bunch of years. to be honest with you. So I guess it was destined to be there would be a bump up, if you will. I mean, that's what he kind of told me.
Yeah, but like, so like compared to last year, you mean?
Well, compared to like say the past 5 years.
Um,
But remember now they didn't have any. I don't think there was any conference in 2020. There probably wasn't one in 2021. I mean, there was one last year. So they are trying to recoup some money.
yeah. But I'm saying go for volume, because it deters people they don't want to go. And then also, we don't have enough shop teachers. So, like, why not get the tradespeople in and the art teachers and the science teachers? Like, I think they got to reach out beyond the shop teacher world is, what I would say, Anyway, that's my.
I think that's all. I mean, I think that's all great feedback, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's just like I understand, things cost money, but they should be figuring out ways to drop the cost. Although I'm not looking at the finances, maybe that is what it costs, and it's kind of like no way around it. I don't know. That's the thing. It's easy for me to just make a criticism, but I'm not seeing the finances. I mean, I charge money for my welding class, and I'm sure someone's like, oh, what's the big deal? Well, yeah, I have overhead. I have material I have to buy. I got to pay for, there's a ton of stuff. I got insurance. I have 2 different insurances, in case someone trips on the way in and gets hurt while welding. Like, those are 2 different insurances, so I'm sure they got to carry insurance and everything. Like, I understand, but at the same time, if there's any way to change the dynamic where, because like I had to pay for I bought my supervisor a spot, and my district didn't pay for it. So not everybody's district pays for it. Anyway, let's not turn it into a venting session. Let's get into the meat of it here.
All right, I sent the schedule over, so if you wanted to pop that up.
Okay. So, here we go. Like Duke, how much is your conference at max? Is 180, right?
Well, members, I think what did I say? Members are like 150. Members are 150, and then non-members are 200. Now that's on site. Members early bird's $100. Non-members is 160.
Yeah, and that seems more reasonable. I mean, we didn't get a cold pizza, but
yeah,
Ron, this is mine. This is my NJTEEA. So what I went to last week was my fall conference at SUNY Oswego. So the spring conference for NJTEEA, this rotates around the state. So one year it was in Utica, one year it was in Oswego. This year it's going to be in Troy at Hudson Valley Community College. So I've never been to NJTEEA conference. I only ever go to the Oswego conference. But
there it is. It's a similar price.
Non-members $300.
Well, that pays for your membership for the year.
So this is like $75 more than the New Jersey one.
All right, so let's say, look,
I'm out of place. Maybe I don't know what things cost.
But keep this in mind: my Oswego conference, the SUNY Oswego conference, is only $100. That was 2 days of conference, and they gave us lunches at one of the dining halls, and then there's a conference dinner Thursday night. That's included in your $100.
And what's the difference between that? Oh, that's a local versus a.
Well, that's the thing. It's SUNY Oswego. So any of the shop teachers here in New York most likely have graduated from Oswego.
Okay.
So we have an Oswego conference, and then we have NJTEEA.
Got it.
So
When's that in? That's in March.
Yeah.
Now let's say, all right, we're so a couple of guys. Oh, same go shop class podcast. We wanted to go to this conference. So I'm from Pennsylvania. These guys are from New Jersey. That would cost us $300, and we get a New York membership with that. Like,
Yeah.
Because maybe we'd want to go because it's in the spring and not in the fall.
mhm.
Well, maybe we should go and present. Do they offer?
They must. I was talking to the president of NJTEEA while I was there about the podcast and everything, and he was basically drumming up, the conference this coming spring and everything, and looking for attendees and presenters type of thing. But if you look at the pricing, 1-day conference attendance is $125, and that's not saying non-member member price. That's just $125 a day.
Hey, have you guys thought about doing like what I do for like IBS and JLC, trying to get maybe companies that you guys work with to sponsor your trip to those conferences?
Yeah, that would be good.
Because we don't have those conferences.
Oh,
I don't even know of an organization in Illinois for shop teachers or whatever. Maybe there is. I don't know. I'm not familiar with it. But anyways, I mean, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't be going out to the Build Show and all that stuff in Vegas if it wasn't for being sponsored by like Sashco and those guys to cover the bill for me. So I didn't know, especially you guys talked about having some of the, if any of them have vendors there and stuff, especially, but try to get some of those corporate sponsorships to cover it for you. Then it's nothing, especially if your school doesn't cover it. Like for me, our school district don't pay for none of that stuff. Mine's more like, hey, it's paid for. Okay, you can go. We don't have to pay for it.
yeah. Oh, I think I found it for you. Is this it? Educational technology leaders. Illinois. What is that?
Did you hear anything Matt said? Or are you just looking for his conference?
Duke, why are you laughing at me, Duke? I'm looking up what he said.
There's a long silence and nobody knew what you were talking about.
I think this is more educational technology, not technology education.
This is the wrong one.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if any, although I've never even looked though. So honestly, like I've told a lot of people, jumping on a Wednesday night with all you guys is better PD than we usually get.
Yeah.
True.
We got to have our own conference. We had it in person, but we didn't have a conference.
Well, hold on, time out. One thing at a time.
My conference then was in the
Excuses.
car for 26 hours with two other gentlemen that just
And Ron, man, I know you're talking about they need to get, try to get the most affordable place possible, but I don't know, man. After I did the Harbor Freight thing, I don't know if I want to attend anything if it's not, LA on the marina, having at least one dinner on Malibu Beach and stuff. It just doesn't sound appealing anymore.
Oh man, we can't talk to him anymore.
We got the Hudson River, man. We got the
On
Hudson.
upskill. He doesn't want to. He can't come down here with these frozen pizzas. That's not his.
Yeah. No slumming it, man. I want the boat ride around the marina and
Harbor Freight, man. They ruined it.
they did. I tell
The
you
only thing
what,
we
they
got was-
did.
The only thing we got was a clock tower and horseshoes.
Hey, that horseshoe was good.
Absolutely, that was great stuff.
And I didn't even have a horseshoe. It was just, that's the funny part.
Where I'm gonna try and find it. Where was the dude? The little town square. That thing is a
You passed it. You passed it. It would be towards the top, towards the end.
Oh, towards the end. Towards the end.
Yeah, I saw the.
Oh,
What
was this one?
That's Tim and Duke, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where we ate.
That's where we had some great sausage.
In Columbus.
Yeah, that was good. Where's the night? Oh, this is it,
There it is. Yep, there it is.
dude.
Dude, Nick's was ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah. His was
It was a good breakfast too.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
That was a good time. That was a good time. Look at the clock tower. This is
It
awesome.
looks like Back to the Future. Just look at that.
It is. It really is. They got to shoot a movie here. You know,
They did. It's called Back to the Future.
dude, it's modeled after this town. It is so crazy. What was that other place we ate at? We went back to that town square twice, right?
We had at Florinda's, the Italian place.
Okay, we didn't do a picture though, right?
Yeah, I don't think we got that. That was the one. That was the dinner Sashko covered for us.
This is the important thing: the fuses, the mega fuses.
I have the fuses.
Oh, I got some of these today. That was really funny. They dropped them off.
You knew what to order because you studied and studied and studied all summer.
Yeah. And then, we presented it like as if we knew what we're doing.
And the funny thing was, we actually sound like we knew what we were doing.
Yeah. Did we even put in? Where's the fuses? We didn't even put that in.
No, we didn't.
It wasn't even spoken about. It's a
No,
major,
because it was an inside joke.
it was a major part of my operation.
You didn't put your bifocals in, did you? No, that was an inside joke.
Okay. Where was that? Oh God, that was hilarious.
That was Matt's daughter's or stepdaughter.
Yep. Yeah, that was Iris's. Yeah,
How's she doing?
she's good. She had basketball tonight, so she's pretty pumped. She worked her way up. There they are. She worked her way up to the starting spot, so she's pretty excited stuff. I think they lost tonight, but Carmen said that she played good. I didn't get to go tonight's. I'm home with the little one, but and I was caulking her. Oh, but
she doesn't mess around with her basketball.
Yeah, Iris is doing good. She's it's funny. So a bunch of her friends went as construction workers for Halloween, and she's like, no one even knows how to do any construction. I'm not going as that. I actually do some of that.
There she is.
Yeah.
She was learning with
Mark Willie.
Mark Willie. Oh man, that was cool. How's he doing? He was not doing well that day.
Yeah, he wasn't feeling good that day. He's good. I mean, he's doing fine. I mean, I just think he was. He's been all over, man. He's been out in Colorado and Texas, and
wow.
You know, Mark. He's on the move.
I want to borrow a blower door. This was such This was such a cool event doing this thing.
Greg,
really
Greg
cool.
has the one. Greg has the one from Satcho, right? Was that Satcho's?
Yeah. Yep. The traveling blower door, the one that we had there with the stickers and stuff. Greg just used it. They did two of them. One right at the beginning of school starting, and then I think one just a couple weeks ago after they went down and did some fixing on air leaks. And then I believe it's sending back out to Colorado to Sashko, and Nate from Sashko is going to go around and try to do some stuff in his own house.
Right. So this fan blower.
And this house is now as old, right?
Yeah, we had the open house. I haven't checked with the realtor to see what the offers and stuff were, but yeah, it's officially on the market, and I would assume they're entertaining bids right now. I honestly haven't talked to. I've been so busy with the new house stuff that I have, and just as soon as I get home, I'm busy with family stuff that I haven't even taken the time to call. But at the same time, there's not really anything I can do about it after it's in their hands. It's all them. I can't sign the papers anyway. So I just answer questions about it now. So, but yeah. And then we got the new one going, super exciting. The mobile classroom is working great. We're going to get the other two batteries hooked up and get that ground rod in. So, because right now if we run the mini split for the heat all night long, it will drain the one battery.
Oh, okay. That's good data. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it'll drain it to low battery, and then it like the inverter's like shut off or whatever, or shut everything down. But the thing is, though, that thing charges so fast. Like by time noon comes around, before it even gets into direct sunlight, it's like fully charged.
That's great news.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
it's impressive.
So you think?
So once I get it, go ahead.
So you think if you hook up the other, say you only hooked up one extra battery, you think you can make it through the night?
I don't know. I can try it. I haven't hooked them up. I'm getting ready to. I can just hook one up and run it and see what happens.
You got to go old school. Hook up an analog clock, and then when it stops, that's where.
Count how many minutes past the blinking 12 it goes, so we know how long
no,
it's been off.
No. You could do that, but no analog, like actual like hands. No digital.
Oh, plugs in. Yeah, like an old school clock.
The old school.
Like the clock tower, it got struck by lightning.
Hook it
And
up
now
to
we
the
know
clock
what time
tower.
it struck.
Yeah, like the ones that used to be on the school walls.
Yeah.
Like you had the little inset plug-in behind it.
It'll be like click, and that's it.
Yeah.
No, but
Well,
I guess
I need to get everything. I haven't got, since we got the internet and the Wi-Fi going, I haven't taken the time to get it set up, so we could probably monitor that.
Oh, dude, that would be fantastic. If you had some data.
If I got time to, now that the kids know what they're doing subfloor, maybe I'll have some time to play with it tomorrow.
Maybe you could delegate a kid, no? Would that be good or not? Probably not.
Maybe, although they haven't really messed with it. I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
But they know what they're doing with the subfloor now. Both groups have done it, so I could literally, especially afternoon group, I could let them go and.
Well, I could probably give you an estimate. If you know how much, like when you're on that, your little monitor tells you. Wait, you should have data. Doesn't it collect data?
I think so. I just haven't hooked it up to the Wi-Fi for us to get into it.
Okay.
So I assume I don't know, it should collect data. It doesn't need Wi-Fi to collect data. It just needs the Wi-Fi to share data.
Yeah,
I would assume, right? Maybe.
I wonder how much it stores, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess it may send it to a cloud.
Yeah. And then the other part is, okay, how many watts does it say when you're on the mini split? Do you remember it all or not?
I'll check tomorrow.
Okay. So when it's running it, and not just the nameplate, because the nameplate's going to show you like the max, like a spike or something. We need to know where it kind of settles in at. So if it's, let's say it pulls basically if it pulls, let's say with everything, your fridge, your whole trailer, let's say that's 3,000 watts. And the battery, I think each battery was like 3,500 watt hours. You're only going to last like an hour before it's dead. About an hour, So it's basically like if it's 3 kilowatts and you have 3 kilowatts, then that's an hour.
Yeah. So this morning I turned it on and let it run, the heat run just for a little bit to kind of balance it back out in there. Cause it's cold here now. And, I went back in probably about half an hour or so, and it'd taken it down pretty good. But remember, it wasn't in full sun still. It was collecting, but it wasn't in full sun, so it was still using a lot of battery. And it ran it down. In a short amount of time, maybe down to like 60% or something. I'll have to pay attention, closer attention, and then then I turned off the heat because it was warm enough in there, and then obviously by the time I come back from lunch, like everything's like charged.
Wow, that's so awesome.
Like
Because I was
it collects fast.
dude, I remember when it was charging the battery at 40 amps and at 48 volt, and I just did a quick calculation. That's 1920, so that's like almost 2,000 watts. That's a lot, dude, because your mini split, once it settles, might be only pulling 1,000. So you're actually adding 1,000 into the battery. And then the battery, if it's 3K, that means it's just going to take 3 hours at 1,000 extra amps or watts. So it's like, dude, it's so much power.
Yeah, whenever it's in direct sunlight, so in the afternoon when it's, sun's on the west side and just pretty much, hitting it almost directly with the mini split running, it will run and charge at the same time. Like it's pulling in enough to run the mini split and continue charging the battery if it needs any charge, if there's any charge left.
So
as soon as that sun goes down, it drains it pretty quick.
I want to ask you a novice question because I don't think I know this. What will pull more, the heat or the air conditioner?
I think the heat, but
that's what I was thinking.
Well, not necessarily, because it takes a lot to do air conditioning too. So maybe Matt could answer that. I don't actually know. I
don't know. I'll have to ask. I can find that out because I know that's a question. If we do the house, and I've been told which one it probably is, but I don't remember. In fact, Foley may have answered that for us once.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, that's huge that you're able to do this. And it's so fun. Like, it just feels playful. Like, you're like, cool, I'm going to add another battery, By the way, Jehu is making enclosures now.
I saw.
Dude, you might want to contact him. He might just send it to you. I don't know. I can't speak for him, but let me pull up his website. I
thought the same thing when I seen those.
Dude. And he's chilled out. By the way, did you guys know that he was on the Robert Downey Jr. I don't know what they call it, but like a Dream Car Garage or something like that? Downey Jr. He was on HBO with Robert Downey Jr. Dream Car Garage. Yeah, this thing. Did you guys watch this yet?
I think I saw it either on YouTube or on Instagram.
I think this is the one. Yeah. I have to I can't log into this thing. But they convert a car. It's funny. They make it look so easy, dude. I'm like, no, man. I spent every freaking day for 6 weeks working on that thing.
Iron fuses.
And by buying fuses.
we made a solar install sound easy.
That's true. That is true. I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to bore people with all the details, right? It's like, oh man, no one even wants to know. But anyway, okay.
But I think it, in the end, it was easy. Like, it wasn't too challenging. Seriously.
Yeah, it wasn't like the end of the world challenging, but it definitely was. Let me see. Is this it? The enclosure. Oh, that might be it. Dude. Yeah, man. You see this? Oh, you're not looking at it. That's OG. Like, that's cool. So wait, this is 12 volt. Oh, 48. Oh, rack mount or wall mount. Dude, I think you got to get this. Here we go. This is the video.
All right, video time. Today's video is going to be...
I'll just skip ahead. But yeah, check that out. That's a similar plate. Yeah, those are the ones. The 60 amp hours.
It's like the exact same thing.
Yeah, dude, that's it.
And then he has it also I think you can get the BMS, and it has the little screen mounts on there and everything. Kind of like what we talked about doing.
Bro, this is awesome. Like, what a cool thing. I said it to him, like, dude, you need a cover. So I think inspired by that, and then also probably not the only ones asking for it. And then he went and did this. And he knows how to contact these sheet metal makers. So he probably bought them, you know, designed it, and then he's getting real good. I mean, he's kind of good at product design, you know, DIY product design, you know. There it is. And you could rack mount it. Do you think you would put it on the wall like this?
Did you have enough fish paper? Or was he
Seriously.
trying to wrap zip tape around them all?
Oh, man. That's funny. Fish paper, if you don't know, is used for wrapping fish and batteries. Why? I have no idea.
I thought it was for feeding fish.
It was for what?
Feeding the fish.
Oh, fish paper. Here you go. Here's your food.
And if you don't have fish paper, you can go to your local sign shop and bum material off of them.
Yeah, that worked out.
Yeah, it's like vinyl sign paper or something.
Yeah.
Because Matt knows everybody in Taylorville.
If you ran for
Small
office,
town.
it would be like a landslide. It would go down in history as the largest victory.
He wouldn't even have to put sign up. He would just say Matt Bloomquist.
Yeah.
Everybody would vote for him.
Oh, you know what'd be funny? It would be the first landslide. I don't know if it's the first, but it'd be like a landslide victory. He would make the news. Next stop, presidency. Matt Bloomquist,
Bloomquist.
president.
5,000 to 0.
Problem is, I'd get to office, then I'd be like, now what do I do?
No different than in your classroom, Matt.
Yeah, it's ripping tonight. Oh man,
That's Matt behind the scenes. Oh, I'm here in class. What do I do today? I don't know.
Yeah. That's what I told him. Me and my principal, we had our post evaluation meeting, and we were just going over things. And, you know, I was talking about, you know, the class is pretty good, and, you know, they can work and do things, and, you know, behavior I don't have to worry about too much. You know, I mean, I got to keep kids on task. I kind of joke. All I do now is take pictures and make videos.
that's funny. They are good. The updates. Speaking of update, where are you at with your house now?
So we got the floor framing all done. The foundation went in awesomely. I tell you what. Well, and then hold on. So we started subfloor. So we should be framing walls. If we're not framing by Friday, let's say afternoon, Monday for sure, we're starting on walls. They came out and measured for trusses today. So here by Thanksgiving, we should be, we'll say, shedding water. We couldn't run a blower door test yet, but we'll be able to stand inside if it rains. And then I'll tell you what, though, we did that perfect block for the foundation, which is an ICCF, which is a insulated composite concrete form. A little bit different from an ICF. And first time using it and everything, and it's kind of a hybrid product. And people could not get over the fact that we didn't stagger the block, because typically when you do block work or brickwork for structural purposes, you have to stagger. But it's actually a concrete form, so it's foam. It looks like concrete in the pictures because it's gray. And so people are like, oh my God, like people flipped out on Instagram and TikTok especially. Like most people just ask, they're like, oh, why didn't you stagger? You know, and then when I explained it, they're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I get it. You know, I was like, manufacturers, you don't have to. On TikTok, 50,000 views.
Wow.
Went insane because people would not, I mean, people flat out like, this is horrible. It's gonna fail. You're gonna have blowouts, like just like straight hating. And
Wow, really?
and then
Well, even
what
with
happens
ICFs,
is,
you still stagger the joints.
what happened? What was that again, Nick?
I said, well, with even ICFs, you stagger the joints when you're, stacking those Lego blocks.
Yep, correct. Because there's no way to adhere them on the vertical, right? So you have to stagger them. Well, with the perfect block, you adhere with adhesive foam all the way around. So you're connecting all the way around. So that's why, and you got to remember, there's so much less concrete that goes into these compared to an ICF form, which is wide open. The amount of force that's going in there, the amount of material that's going in there, there's only like 2 more yards of concrete in our walls than our footings. And our walls are 4 feet tall. Our footings are only a foot tall, 10 inches tall, right? 18 inches wide. So you're using a lot less concrete. On TikTok, people so it was one of those things I was just like, yeah, you can stagger if you want. You don't have to, try to, being polite about it, all of it. And then the next video had it's all poured and done. And everybody's like, oh, you got to brace that. Da, da, da. I'm like, we don't. Like, not the size of the walls we were doing. So, because the nice thing is you get the benefit of it not needing extra bracing like you would with a cement block wall. Now, if you get taller and longer walls, you would maybe have to add some bracing just to be sure. And then you get but you don't have to, since it's a concrete form, that's why you don't have to stagger it. And in our case, not staggering meant the install went quicker and used less block. But on like Instagram, on social media, the algorithm doesn't care whether the comments are good or bad. All it knows is there's traction. So if there's traction on that post, it just keeps putting it out there, right?
Right.
So on Instagram, I think we were over 10,000 views. And then on TikTok, it was over 50,000, which TikTok easier to get higher numbers. But on my TikTok account, which all I do is copy and paste everything over, like literally like overnight, like it jumped up like I was at like 200 and some followers. It jumped up to like 500.
Wow. Which one is it? Is it this one?
No, this wasn't. Go back. I'll show you. Scroll up. Nope. Keep going. Keep going.
Gotta be.
Nope. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Nope, not that one. I think it was either that one. It's either that one right there or
could be this one.
No. Go. That one got a decent amount. If you go down, there's the one right behind, underneath the one. That one right there. I think that was the one. Maybe. I'd have to look.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was the one. This is the one. One guy just would not let go of it.
With 14 replies.
Dude, yeah.
A Perfect Block responded.
Yeah. So Chris from Perfect Block. So him and I were talking. We've been talking a ton.
That's amazing. The product. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and so they were just loving this. They're like, "Oh my God, the kid's a great like." He's giving me all the tips and advice that I needed to make sure because like he literally does this all the time. So he's with Perfect Block and he does a lot of the installs. So I think he's not one of the creators of it, but I think he might be invested in it. And he's also a main installer. And he was literally like, he's like, hey, he goes, I know I'm in Arizona. He's like, I'll make sure I'm up, and I'll have my phone by me. Like, is you got any questions for the poor, just call me. Like he was like kind of on call for me. And like we've been talking, we'd chat back and forth. He's like, oh my God, what do you call them? The stagger trolls or something. He's like, they will not let go. Like, and he's not super, he runs their social media and he goes, I'm not super savvy on this stuff. So he's trying to do his best to answer questions, but he's like, no, dude, you're answering these fine. He goes, I'll jump on there and kind of get your back and stuff. But it was funny.
I got a completely naive question. When they're talking about staggering, what are they talking about? Like, instead of having
your block walls in your room, right?
Pause the video right there. Pause the video.
I don't know if I can.
Pause the video real quick.
Oh, you can. There you go.
Okay. So you see how block is on top of block?
Yeah. Got it.
So usually they're
Ron, look at the walls in your room right now.
yeah, it's
block
usually
walls.
half a block over.
Get Ron, turn around.
Oh, Matt's blocking he's probably blocking the mic.
Oh, sorry. Can you guys hear me?
I don't know what happened. I hear you, but there's something wrong with the sound now.
Oh, Carmen was calling.
That's
Sorry.
it. You're better. You're better now. You're better now.
Okay, so we were stacked right above each other, and usually they're halfway over, and that helps create strength on a normal block assembly. But this isn't that, and so that's why people were freaking out about the stack. And
Am I right? Because they're going to tie together anyway. Because when you pour into that cavity, doesn't it make a lattice?
Yes, and that's where all the strength is in this situation.
The rebar does that for you.
Yes, the rebar. Yep, and there's a bunch of rebar in there. And other people like, no rebar. I'm like, guys, it's inside the blocks, man.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember you guys putting it in.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If you just went like 2 videos ahead, you would have saw the rebar. People are silly.
Yeah, that's wild. And the rebar's in there. Well, trolls don't really, they're just kind of.
Yeah.
Oh, look, they're not staggered over here.
Yeah. Like Steve Basic says, he always likes getting in the what he calls a conversation with these people. He's like, what they don't realize is they're building up our algorithm. They're building the algorithm to make it post more.
That's funny. That's funny, man.
So what?
Well,
So that's just foam in between. That's just the adhesive to hold them together. That's sticking out between the blocks.
Yep, it's adhesive spray foam.
This project is and
it's strong. It's impressively strong. Like I mean, don't get me wrong. If I took off running and just like put a shoulder into the top row of it, I could probably get it to. Well, actually, I don't even know. You'd probably bust the brick before you bust the joint, kind of like wood glue, right? If you guys try busting the boards, usually the wood fails before the glue does.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. That's cool. Wow, this is awesome. Yeah, look at them.
Let me ask you another question though. Can the blocks be staggered?
Yep.
Would the lattice work still?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It's made because it's on every foot. So if you split a block, you're lining right back up. And that's why I told everybody, I go, no need to stagger, but you're welcome to.
Yeah. That's good. We had some trolls at the presentation.
Yeah, we did. We did about the batteries.
Yeah, during the presentation, we're right at the end of the presentation, and so we, hey, open it up for questions. And someone's like, hey, well, what about lead acid batteries? Isn't it cheaper? And I'm like, sure. You could, but the tech is old. It's not, you're not going to get the energy density. It's going to be huge. He's like, but it's stationary. So it's funny that people, what they do is they ask a question, but then they argue with you. So they're not really asking my opinion. They're just pointing out, hey, you didn't use lead acid batteries. And I'm like, no. But I know lead acid batteries. They don't last that long. If you abuse them, they get destroyed. You know what I mean? Like you can't cycle them like you would with a lithium cell. And don't get me wrong, they're probably more durable to charging and discharge abuse, but not over the long term. So like you can overcharge a lead acid cell, but not a lithium cell. You overcharge a lithium cell, you're gonna have a fire. That's what the battery management system is. But we overcharge lead cells all the time. That's what your alternator does. It goes to 14 volts, and your battery's really at 12.7, and it's being abused. But that's what it takes to get to. Anyway, long story short, whatever. So we had these trolls, and it was wild, man. That was good times. The guy was like, what about the mining? He was all mad. Then at one point, wait, Tim, were you there when he was like trying to get into like a real serious argument with me?
Was that at the end? I think that was at the end, right?
At the end, he pulled the biggest Jersey move ever. He goes like this. He goes, my buddy Joey has to use a wooden broomstick to knock off the person who's getting electrocuted over at the Toyota hybrid plant. And I'm like, dude, I've been working on these electric cars since 2008. I've never had to use a broomstick to knock anybody off. He's like, the most Jersey move ever. Are you saying my friend's a liar? Like that. I was like,
I missed that.
oh my God. I'm like, dude, bro, I don't even know you. I don't even know your friend. What? You all right?
Well, I was talking to the gentleman from Rutgers, the Rutgers Makerspace, while you were entertaining the other people over there.
Oh, yeah. I was getting a punching bag over here.
Yeah, they're like, let's ask a question about the batteries. Ron, you ready?
I tried to deflect and be like, well, look, this is the option we went with, And then he's like, are you telling me my friend's a liar? I'm like, no, but that's not what I used. I don't know what you're talking about, man. It was so funny. I love it, though. I love the energy. I just wasn't ready for it. I didn't realize that he was like going full bore. You know what I mean? It was so funny.
It's weird because sometimes in events like that, you'll get one like intense person, but then they're overshadowed by all the other people that just want to ask generic questions like,
yeah,
so how many rolls of electrical tape did you use? Like, it doesn't matter. We used like 400, And then one person was like, how many like fuses did Ron really order?
No way, really. Too many.
But like, and then all of a sudden, you get the people that want to they want to ask a question, but just nervous too, and they never do.
Sure. But yeah, so we had the troll. So yeah, and Matt jumped off anyway. But that was really good update from Matt. But we should do the presentation, and because it's already 9:30.
Hey, we can blow through it real quick. All
right, let's do it, man. Let's do it. All right.
I'll be practice for New York.
Yeah.
I wanted to record our thing, and I forgot my GoPro at home when I left in the morning.
Can you guys see it? You guys see the presentation or not?
Yes.
Okay. All right. You wanna start it up there, Nikki? I mean, Tim. I'm tired.
Yeah, this is the off-grid solar system install. Next slide.
Where it started, Shop Class Podcast. Yo, if you look at this, it says May 2018. Isn't that wild? That was pre everything.
So so the approach that Ron and I hit with this was, Ron decided that he wanted to tell a little bit about the start of the Shop Class Podcast.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Harry.
And we ended up just talking about how we are all on our own little islands, and being that we're on our own little islands, it was very difficult to get people together. And yes, Instagram is great, but in the beginning there wasn't, people weren't really using Instagram for what we're doing it for now. And then Matt Barbercheck and Ron came up with this idea behind the Shop Class Podcast and the need to collaborate and talk and share ideas. And it kind of basically was just episodes every once in a while. And then we ended up having COVID, and then we started meeting every day or every week for a while. We actually in the very beginning of COVID, we did meet almost every day. And then it transferred to once a week.
Yeah, the cool thing is like
about that.
Yeah, I mean, the cool thing is like we used to like curate it and like try and pick a topic and we talk about it. I think we did about 40 episodes like that, and we got burnt out. And then I just thought during the pandemic there was such a need to connect. So I was like, you know what, we need to just go live. I don't have a plan. And then that evolved into let's ask an expert to come in the room. And then I think that led to really fun episodes like the Terrazzo episode and some other episodes where we just trip out on learning. I mean, even just now we were looking at the perfect block. I don't know anything about that thing, but now I kind of do. I understand. I asked the right questions. You guys ask questions. why is it not staggered? What are the trolls talking about? How's the lattice pattern? Where's the rebar? Like, I totally kind of get it now. I haven't put one in, but how would I ever have known about that? It's kind of outside my wheelhouse, So that's the point of Shop Class Podcast, is to share ideas. And that's a really important thing. I think not just in your district, but across big geography, like a whole country or other countries too. We got people in the house tonight from Toronto, Canada. So that's pretty cool. All right. And this is the gang. Tim, you want to introduce everybody?
Sure. Everybody that was in this picture is here.
Except Greg.
Is that Greg?
Okay. So, but what if I take this clip and I put it out there as a separate clip? So we got to kind of go around. So we got. Well,
you have myself. I'm from I work in Washington, New Jersey. And then Duke is from East Stroudsburg, and Nick is from Accord, New York. That's where they teach. And of course, Matt Bloomquist from Taylorville, Illinois, and Ron is from West New York, New Jersey, and Greg is from Mason City, Iowa. So we went with putting the locations of the schools down on these instead of actually home cities, if you will, just because this was a professional type of thing. And it was nice. It's nice to connect a face with a name. So this was Ron's idea to put this slide in.
Yeah, I just want to show the group, it's not a lot of people, but it's a core group. Do you ever think you're going to be in Taylorville, Illinois in the summer, putting in a off-grid system, which is still kind of cutting edge? Like, that's pretty cool, even though solar's been out for a while. So I really enjoyed this project. It was cool. All right. So what's the challenge? Tim, you want to take this? Tell us what the challenge is.
So we talked about the collaboration, and in the grand scheme of things, Ron and Matt met up at JLC in Rhode Island, and they were brainstorming different ideas, and we decided you guys decided about possibly getting Matt off the grid and be sustainable, that he can support himself without having to wait for power pole to be put in, have to work around the district cost, the downtime of getting to this, I'll say for the property, and then being able to wait to get things set up. So now he can just literally roll onto the property and have everything he needs set up and start going basically day 2 as compared to week 2. And the whole idea was to not have to have the cost for the power pole, because of course anything that's done on a job site, there's a dollar amount associated with that.
Exactly. Okay. And this is the actual trailer. And right now it's parked in this picture kind of by the field. It's like a field house to keep the equipment there, but that was a good spot for us to work on. So they put up the scaffolding, and you can see it's a standing seam metal roof. That golf cart there came in handy because it's got batteries on it. We did borrow those for a little bit, but these are the things that it needs to do. It's going to run a mini split, which is your HVAC. It's got a refrigerator and microwave. It's got to charge the batteries for all the tools. And it's got to run the computer, the printer, wall mounted TV, all the things that you would need for like a classroom. And as you know, I don't know if we mentioned this, obviously you guys know, but if this is a standalone video, think about it. You're on a job site. It's not a regular classroom. So you're going to the job site and you're showing up with nothing. So the teacher needs to take attendance. You need be able to charge your phone. You can't just be standing on the side of a road somewhere. So this is kind of the mobile classroom, and that's what we're supporting with, believe it or not, batteries and solar.
So I think a lot of other people, if you want to just go back there for a second, Ron, a lot of people are like, well, why don't you're building a house? Why don't you just hold class in the house? Well, this is before it's enclosed. This is before it's under roof. So Matt's students got this trailer and they ripped it apart, stripped everything out of it, and then rebuilt this shell of a classroom that literally is just pulled behind a truck. So think of it as a camper with no bedrooms and no bathrooms and no kitchen. So it's literally just a big open space inside a building, but on wheels.
Right. And then we really should point out some of the financing behind it. Obviously, Shop Class Podcast, he's kind of like self-financed. Everyone just contributed to getting their butts over there, whether it was through flight or through driving. And then we kind of shared the costs of stuff like that. But the major financing came from Harbor Freight, not directly, but Matt had won the award. And so he used the award money to buy all the parts, which I think came to about $12,000. And then a major contribution, not major, but actually secondary in a way, but pretty good, was Solar Landscape, 10 panels. And these panels crank. It's like 450 watts each. So that was from New Jersey. And that's Todd Menadir, a former shop teacher. So it's pretty cool. His classroom was one of the first classrooms that was off the grid back like over 10 years ago. When I was doing electric cars, he was doing solar, off-grid systems. And it's kind of funny. So I used to say I was doing the car thing and he was doing the building thing. And that went on for a long time. And then he actually left the industry or the teaching and he's working now for Solar Landscape. So you need solar panels on your roof. It's a big project, like a whole school or a city block or something. They're the ones to call. They'll do the estimate. I think they're still trying to get an estimate over to Taylorville High School, which would be interesting. So here we are. Timmy, what's this?
Just to piggyback off of what Ron said, yes. So the reason why we had 10 solar panels was because 4 of them were going to be on a separate trailer that Matt's students are going to work on. The initially plan was to have us do both installs, but with solar panels coming broken and just time and rain, we weren't able to get the other 4 auxiliary solar panels going. And that's something that Matt's going to end up doing with the students. So we ended up basically just getting the roof situated, getting the 6 panels up and installed, and go from there. Nice. So on this next slide, there was a lot of collaboration before we even went out to Taylorville, and Ron spent months working on getting an initial plan and figuring out how things were going to be wired together on this wiring diagram. And then once that was situated, this is kind of what the final ideation of that ended up being. So as you can see, if you looked at this panel or this chalkboard or whiteboard, you can literally go there and figure out what is needed at any given point. And having this plan really helped assist, certain teams going at certain tasks, and then knowing what to do, where to do it, and how to do it, and what needed to be applied in what spot. So the wiring diagram was very important in the overall grand scheme of the project, because without this, we literally would be lost.
Yeah, and just to explain a little further, like, you need to know your wire size, you need to know how long, where it's going, you need to know your fuse size as well. So, these are the things that, and you got to make it public so that the other people working can just look at this and do what they have to do. You can't keep it private. Don't keep this on a little piece of paper. Make sure that everyone could see it. That would be my advice.
Well, and if you see the different check marks on each thing, so that's when things were getting done. People were putting check marks to note that, hey, this was done. You don't need to worry about this anymore. Move on to the next task.
Yeah. All right. So there's kind of like 5 phases. Component inspection. Lay everything out. Make sure that you lay everything out and make sure that you have everything. Test it, test to make sure you have everything. Well, that's not testing, but lay it out. Solar panel installation. You should probably get that done as soon as possible, because there could be rain, and that's what happened in our case. Electrical control board. I would test everything. Just make sure it works. And in this case, we didn't have the batteries ready, and we tested it with portable power, which was a like a
Power
golf
supply.
cart. Yeah, golf cart and a power supply to test the panel area. Then battery assembly. Sometimes you don't have to assemble the battery, but you might have to. And then board installation, put it in and test your functionality. All right. This is part 1. This is component inspection. So lay everything out, see how it works, see where you're going to have to put the wires, make sure you got everything there. And, you got to see where you're going to route everything, and then just make sure it fits on the board. So that would be component. Anything you want to add for that, Timmy?
Yeah, so if you look, you can see basically where we had inverters, everything's unpacked, everything's put in in a general location, so that we could definitely start to lock down certain components. If you look on the plywood piece there, you can see some blue tape outlining the perimeter of the area that we were going to be working with. And eventually you get to a point where you can only move things around so much. You actually have to start making the decision and say, yeah, I think I'm going to put the inverters here, and I think I'm going to put this here. But without knowing one specification, you need to make sure that you can lock something down so that other things can happen shortly thereafter. And that's what this inspection and placement was, besides also getting wires out from the packaging, making sure you had all the different cables, the mounting screws. So it was just a wide variety of different things that was going on at this point.
Nice. So here they are, installing solar panels. And what's that called when he pops through the roof there and he's got the boot?
That was the masthead. That was the masthead and the I guess, what is that called, Nick?
The weatherhead?
Oh, weatherhead. Sorry, weatherhead, not masthead, weatherhead. And then we had the boot that goes so that you can seal the weatherhead and the roof together so that the water doesn't go in. And if you notice, we are doing this at night because of the potential of rain the next day. And let me tell you, it poured buckets the next day, and we're so happy we did this at night, and we were dry.
That was really cool. There we go. So here it is, all wired up, and we can actually test it. So you got your, there's a bunch of words pointing at stuff, but in general, the big blue boxes is your inverters. You got a master switch, which is the yellow looking, it's like a red switch, but it's got yellow battery master. You got your battery connections, your bus bars to and from. The Lynx distributor is really just a big bus bar with fuses on it and some electronics that monitor everything. You got your solar controller, which is kind of like a blue box, and that takes in the solar and it changes it to 48 volts. And then you got your solar collector, which is this gray box. It looks like a fuse box, is basically what it is, but that's where it combines your panels and you can break them. So it's kind of self-explanatory. Oh, there's a little servo brain. I think that's what talks to the internet. Anything you want to add to this?
No, well, you can just start to see here that on this, not that we needed to go through every individual component, but just to start to identify and let people see what different things are being used where and how we started routing the wires. And you can see, yeah, some are loosely connected. Some are certainly identified with blue tape or green tape. But this was basically let's confirm that we got this board tested or bench tested, and then know that we can definitely make this happen and put this in the actual classroom, if you will. So this was a very important stage because now we actually took this, and I think the next slide shows us hooking it up to the golf cart to ensure that we could charge and pull from 48 volts.
Yeah, it was just convenient. It was funny because I was like, we kind of need 48 volts. And then I think we saw a golf cart. How did this develop that we found a golf cart and we borrowed it?
Well, everybody was saying how you needed 48 volts, and then the golf cart supply house was across the street, and we went over to ask for batteries to see if we can borrow some batteries. And then Nick came back with a golf cart and just basically was like a word of mouth and a gentleman handshake. And it was, yeah, we'll return it.
That's really funny. We were looking for batteries. He just gave us the whole cart because it is batteries on wheels, basically. With those are going to come in handy. I'm telling you, once people get hooked up to these off-grid systems, they're going to use golf carts as part of a battery backup system. It's pretty cool. All right, so then we got to assemble the batteries. You don't always have to assemble batteries. In fact, I have batteries here. They're not assembled. They're already pre-assembled. But these are different. These are, you're going to get more bang for your buck if you DIY it. And these come from Jehu Garcia, Jag 35. And it's a pretty easy assembly situation. It's straightforward. I wouldn't say you kind of got to know what you're doing, but it is straightforward. That's about it for that, right? Okay, so here's, you have to run them in series and then the 3 batteries in parallel, and you have to monitor them. So every cell gets a little tap, and that is done through these little traces that hook up to these little wires. And then they get monitored by a battery management or battery monitoring system. Long story short with that, just to make it pretty straightforward, is that all the batteries have to be in balance. If you got one battery charged up and one that's mid-charge, you're actually going to hit the ceiling before you finish charging, or you're going to overcharge if you try and mid-charge that one. So bring that mid-charge up. So you can't do that. So you have to have them in balance. And these taps, these little wires, what they do is they balance everything by stealing energy from the top cells. And believe it or not, they just burn it off. It's not a lot of energy, but that's what they do. Even Tesla, everybody, all the car companies, they're all doing this battery management system. So this is us carrying it over. It's on a wall, which we recommend. Assemble it before you install. Make sure that that thing fits. Tim, you want to tell us about the woodwork? There's some sort of French cleat operation.
Yeah, so this was them carrying that in, like Ron said. If you go to the next slide, you can see that we were able to mount the board. We got a nice fit in there. Looks very professional, and that board is actually mounted to 2 2x4s that are, I think we glued and screwed them to the wall, and that actual board is sitting on like a ledger or a French cleat, so that we were able to get it up on the wall and support it so that we could start attaching the screws and attach this whole component or assembly to the wall itself. The nice thing about this was we located some of the studs. We had the French cleat that we could screw into, and when we laid out the board, we made sure that we were near the electrical panel so that we could tap into the electrical panel without having to run an excess of wires. Because if you run an excess of wires, now you're going to have to increase your resistance, and that potentially is going to impact your system and your charging. So that's why the solar controller breaker box is to the right and the inverters are to the left, so that we had the breaker box for the entire, I'll say, mobile classroom nearby.
Yeah, it was a good placement. It's pretty good. Here's a close-up. Everything working. You notice there's a hole in the wall on the right where that little piece of wood is hanging there. It's obviously a lot of temporary materials are here because this is like one of the last days we installed. We only did this in 3 days. That battery on the left, it doesn't look like a battery, but it is, with the little tape on it. I just covered it. I didn't want anything to happen to it. Battery management is sitting on the table. That's that little red thing. And then everything else is hooked up. The AC, the DC off the roofs, the AC going into the panel. And this is, at this point, is probably working. And this here is the first time that we ran the system. Timmy, you got anything to say before I run this?
No, it was getting late at night. This was late Thursday night. We were leaving the next day, and it was basically a do or die situation where we wanted to make sure that we were able to test this and confirm that we had power and we were able to turn the lights on. So I don't know exactly who recorded this, but we got this on tape, which was really neat.
Okay, that's spooky.
All right, so we're off of bat.
So as you can see, yeah, we were excited because, this is the first time we got it to work, and it actually worked. Like when the lights flip on, it's like actually
So we're off of
I can keep on watching that.
Which, the whole thing's ironic because you get Matt standing there with an extension cord, right, in his left hand, and you're thinking like, these guys are just pulling our chain. He's got this extension cord and we're powering the lights, and that extension cord is not hooked up to anything. We were just using that as work light. If you see those yellow lights on the back counter, but when we turned that on, it was literally, fully functional.
It's funny. I didn't realize the extension cord in his hand till now, and now I know what you're talking about. But the thing is that was there because he had to keep it on while we were working on it, and then he pulled it, and I said, "Okay, now let's go dark." And all we did is flip the switch, turn it on. So that was pretty cool.
Okay, that's spooky. All right, so we're off of bat.
Oops. Let me see if I can get to the next slide. All right. Now this was pretty cool. This was the post after. This is after, see if the system works even in the fall. So we already got home. Everyone went back to Jersey and New York and Pennsylvania. And Matt's still out there in Taylorville. And this was his review, which I thought was a real nice pre-coffee, honest review of what's going on, So he did the best he could for us. Here we go. Oh, there we go.
All right. Let's give a quick update on the solar system that we put on the mobile classroom for our building trades program. So this summer, Shop Class Podcast crew came together, teachers. We put this together here in Taylorville. So what we are doing with this, we're on the job site. It powers our mobile classroom. You can see the lights are on. The fridge behind me is running. Keeps our drinks cold. The kids love that. Also, they think it's pretty cool. We haven't got to dive deep into it yet just because of where we're at on the house build, but we're hoping to put solar on our house build. So what's great is we can actually come in and the kids can see the parts, the pieces. Eventually, this panel behind us will have labels. It'll tell us which direction energy is flowing, whether it's AC, DC, all that good stuff. We get the cool little monitor that tells us what's going on. We can kind of watch it, how much sun is coming through whenever, it's sunny outside to compare to right now when it's overcast and cloudy. And we're still getting power, from the sun, which is awesome. Batteries, we have 2 more to hook up. So they'll be hooking up those. And when we put our other 4 panels on a trailer that's going to be movable outside, they'll be part of that. So it's very exciting. The kids think it's pretty cool. Everybody that comes over here thinks it's just totally awesome that we have power, but there's no cords running off of our mobile classroom. And the kids, I think once we dive into it, especially do it on the house, I think they're really going to enjoy getting involved in that. And it'll be a pretty good opportunity. There's a lot of opportunity in this field right now. So, yes, good luck on everything you guys are doing. Keep up the great work. All right, let's give a quick update.
I think it's so cool that you're getting the update from the teacher. He's still using the system and it works. And we just got an update tonight that he said that he wants to add the second battery because he's running the heat all night long now. And he ran out of juice at night, which doesn't really affect him. When he gets there in the morning, he said it charges up so quickly from the panels that it doesn't even matter. But he's going to add another set of batteries. He has plenty of power. The system's kind of oversized. So let's see, technical information.
So Ron is doing the same project at his school, at his high school where he works. So what we did was I took every piece of component that Ron has and what Ron ordered, and basically I just formatted it in a list of everything that you potentially would need, which would not, it doesn't include incidentals like zip ties and, you know, connectors and solder and all that other stuff. So tools is not included on there, but basically anything that you needed to get, say 90% of this job started was on this technical sheet. Now, we don't have a digital copy of this to post handy. I have it on my computer at work, but a bunch of people took handouts from the table to have this. So the one nice thing was there was no prices on it. There was no dedicated vendor on it. Ron said that he got it all from Amazon, but basically if you can figure out a way to get all this, you know, you would have basically a full complete system on paper in front of you, and you can add and subtract components as needed. So you have a starting point as to where you could go to figure out what, you know, what you're going to want to do. And of course, everybody's install might be a little bit different. So you may have one inverter versus two inverters, and it's up to you what, you know, which route you take.
Okay. And, you know, just to wrap it up, Shop Class Podcast every Wednesday night. We are gaining some traction in YouTube, but also Spotify. And we publish as much as possible. We're doing some good thumbnails lately, and they're getting some traction. And basically, yeah, if you had a topic that you wanted to talk about, I think it's important to share it with the shop teachers. You can see here, we talked with Erica Alvarez from NASA, Revolt Systems, which is looks like it's a replacement for a V8. We're using a Tesla motor. Tormach in the classroom. So there's just some cool topics. Handmade panels for old BMWs. It's just all over the place. Whatever's cool and fun and involves making stuff, you know, making, manufacturing, just all kinds of stuff, you know, having fun. And then this was the link tree. If you click this, then you can just go straight to our link tree. The link tree has all the links: YouTube, Spotify, the live link, and I think one other
Instagram.
Instagram, of course, right. So that's basically it. That was our presentation. Thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah, there you go. Critics, let's hear it.
We did it in half the amount of time we did it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No kidding. That's good. Well, so we can wrap it up here, and we can hang out for a couple minutes. What do you guys think?
I think I want to hear some feedback from some of the other guys.
Sure. Yeah. Peter, what do you got? Rip it apart.
Matt, Nick.
There's not much to like. It's well presented, succinct, and it made it appear doable and simple enough that any classroom or organization could take it on and do their own version of the project.
Yeah, like if someone wanted to do this project, honestly, lay out what you think you need. The first thing is you got to figure out your demand. But once you got that, like, lay out what you think you're going to do, lay out your wiring diagram, lay out your products, your pieces, your puzzles. Don't get any surprises, because if you install it and you didn't test it, that's crazy. You know, like, you really need to just be public as possible about what you're trying to do. You know, here, we're trying to do this. What do you think? You know, let us know. We'll help you. We're here. That's the Shop Class Podcast. You know, what do you think, Duke?
No, I thought it was good. That's nice. You laid out everything and explained it, so that was a good talking point there. But Tim, I was a little confused. You said you don't know who took the video. There's only 5 of us there.
Was that you, Duke?
Nick was sitting in the window.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I can't remember who took the video. I guess that was you. Sorry, Duke.
That's funny.
Well, the other thing was, looking back at it now, I'm like, obviously I was in the video. Ron and Matt was in the video. I thought maybe it could have been Ron's daughter. It could have been Matt's daughter, you know, stepdaughter. So.
Oh, yeah, she was there.
She was there.
You know, it's cool. She stayed with us throughout that build.
Yeah, I think Iris was back behind Duke, and think she was actually video recording as well, maybe too, or something.
That's so awesome. I mean, think about I was actually thinking, Matt, I'm so glad you're back. I didn't realize you popped back in. I was thinking about the impressions that this project has made. So Iris saw it get built, and she saw that we struggled and won and all that stuff. But then all your kids, like if anyone ever says to them, hey, off-grid batteries don't work and solar panels don't work, they're going to be like, we built a whole house like using that. So I don't know what you're talking about. You know, like it's an amazing impression. And how many kids see that? 20?
Yeah, I mean, my students this year alone, it'll be 25, and then every year thereafter. So, yeah, every year about 20 students are going to see how this works. And what's funny though is, you guys kind of mentioned it about not having any power cords. Like literally, like the internet provider people come up and they're like, "You guys got power?" I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Okay." It's like it's on the roof.
That's awesome. And so all your suppliers that interact with you, all your local neighbors, the other teachers, the kids, everyone has an impression. Now that I think about it, it might be a better project than the electric car that I did years ago, because we only took that to shows like once a year or twice a year max. So you go to a show, it's a big deal, but you don't get to really interact with it on a daily basis. Whereas your kids, they're expecting that drill battery charger to work. They're expecting it to be warm in there when they're cold. They expect you to log onto the internet and, check out stuff or whatever. So it's a daily use. It's daily being shown off, which is pretty cool, right?
Well, the other thing is, like, yeah, you said about the impressions, but we had about 30 people in our session.
Oh yeah.
That, we got publicity out too. Plus, this will go out on Spotify and YouTube. So
yeah,
there's going to be a lot of traction in regards to this.
That's true. That's 100% right. That's awesome.
Yeah,
the other thing is,
now with me and my students, though, it's getting so common. They go in and charge the batteries, which is right in front of those panels. Now it's not even, it's one of those things you get used to it. It's not even a thought. It's just like, yeah, we plug in our batteries, they come back next day, they're charged.
It's so great.
It's just like we at home just plug into an outlet, right? It just becomes, it works. So you almost stop thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, could you imagine being the internet people coming up to Matt's job site and they roll up and they're like, this guy's not even set up for us. Like, there's no power pole. There's nothing there. Literally, it's just this trailer. And then they're probably like, yeah, this isn't going to happen today. And then Matt shows up and is like, you got power? And we're like, yeah.
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Think about that.
And
I'm waiting until the day that the electric company comes on to put the power to the house and be like, how'd you guys do this?
That's where they're not going to be happy, Matt.
Lower their bills.
Yeah. Well,
the school's liking this right now because they're not paying for a power pole.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, you got to remember that comes out of my budget, so it's all part of it. It all is all part of the cost of the house build.
So how much does that cost for them to install that?
Ballpark. Give us a ballpark. What do you think you saved there?
Man, you know what? I can look up. Well, I looked up. I had all the receipts when we were figuring out the wattage. I'll have to look, man. But
they charge you for to put the power pole. That's got to be some flat fee, right?
Yeah, I forget what that. I'd have to look way back to see what it is. But I have all that. I'd have to look up. I'll try to find those.
Okay.
I'm curious to know what you're saving though. Like, just right now, knowing that you are working off the grid, you are working and you are building this house right now with just the sun, and how much money the district's saving. I mean, obviously they're not saving in wireless fees and, internet service, but you have no connection. There's no other communication to the facility.
I'm going to say, I mean, oh, I'll say a minimum $75 a month right now with nothing, you know, with about the amount of energy we're using, I would guess. So, you know, I wouldn't be shocked if it gets to an average about $100 a month. I'm going to look it up. I'm going to find those bills and check.
Well, that's
Yeah,
just
Matt,
basic. That's just basic energy. But what about the install and the feed at the power pole? That's what I think I'm more concerned.
I forget what because I think the temporary power thing is like a one-time thing, and for some reason, like $250 comes to my mind, and that may be completely wrong. And I don't know if they charge hooking up to the house wouldn't matter because you have to do that. I'll look. I know I've seen that fee before. I'm going to find it. But I mean, the fact that we don't get a monthly bill right now, I know over a course of 2 years, I mean, heck, even if it's only $100 a month, I mean, that's $2,400.
You could even run, once you get that other battery in there, maybe 2 other batteries, you might be able to run the heat in the house when you're just getting set up. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah. Cause those temporary heaters, man, they'll spin the dial.
Yeah. But
I'll check.
But do the calculations.
If I can, I'll try it.
Like, let's say it pulls 1,500 watts and your battery's at 10K. Then that's like, I don't know, let's see. What, I don't know. How much time is this 1,500 going to 10K? I can't remember. I can't do it right now. It's too late.
But couldn't he technically? So, say for example, you get that second trailer up and running with those 4 other panels. Technically, once we have this set up, you could backfeed that panel and backfeed the grid.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Matt?
Yeah, as far as I know.
So
you could be making money on this.
Yeah. So, that's true. So I just did the calculation. So if you're pulling 1,500 watts and you got a 10K battery, you're over 6.5 hours of runtime.
Oh, that's awesome.
And that's not including.
I think ours is 1,500 watt.
And that's not including what you're getting from the sun, especially if you start adding those 4 more panels. Now, I know you're on a kind of a need to add basis because like you're busy with the build and then you haven't added the other 2 batteries yet, but you will because now you need it. You know, I do the same thing, you know, I mean, it's priorities, you know, but if you do add those 4 panels and you add the other 2 batteries, you might be able to support that 1,500 watt heater, even if it's 3,000 watt on a 10K battery. It's going to be like 3 something hours, but don't forget your panels also pulling in power. So you got like 3.5 hours plus your panels will push power. So maybe you get 5 hours of power for that. You know, basically you might be able to make it through the day.
Could you imagine being set up to a point where he can backfeed the house and actually build this house and it didn't cost any money in electricity?
Dude, that'd be a big claim.
Right?
That's pretty wild. I mean, it's challenging enough. Give him a break, Tim.
Well, you know what? Man, yeah.
That would just be wild. That whole thing would just be wild. Like,
Yeah.
It's cool that we did this to begin with, but now if you kind of extrapolate it in regards to what is the potential of this, having this backfeed the house also, spin that meter backwards, and basically the district could be making money off of this.
Yeah.
Or his program could be making money off of this.
Because depending on what we get to do, if we get to put solar on the house, obviously that will take care of anything we do in the house. So then again, it becomes, free again. But if we're able to run it, even if we're able to run it off the trailer, especially if we can run that heater, like, so the first year we did that, we had that heater running and we just kind of let it go. Like, didn't turn it off at night, just let it go. And it has a thermostat on it. the school called me and said, "Hey, what's going on?" Ameren called and said it's like you're heating the outside. And at the time, we weren't insulated. I mean, we're keeping everything in check. And I was like, well, in essence, we are. So like, I think the power bill is getting like to $1,000 a month. It was insane. Yeah, it was something ridiculous.
Dude, that'll easily happen.
Yeah.
If you run it here. Dude, this is going to be a game changer. What you
But
can
now
do-
I only run it while we're there and to keep the chill down. So
You know what-
literally it'd run for 2 hours, be off for an hour and a half, run for like 2 hours.
What you could do is run if you have one heater or two.
One.
All right. So what you do is while you're there, running off the batteries, during the day, while you got a ton of extra power, and then at night hook it up to the grid, and you would save half the day. And then the coldest part of the day would be, there's something like that. You don't have to do it the whole time,
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Even at night, since we're not there, like I tell the kids, unless we're doing something where we like getting into drywall finishing or painting where we need legitimate heat, steady heat the entire time. But yeah, we could totally do that. Switch it over from when the solar's running. But like I said, hopefully we're lucky enough that we get to put the solar on the house. So hopefully we're putting that on its own anyway.
Dude, this would be awesome. Let's get to Peter's question, and then we got to wrap it up because I got to get out of here.
Just wondering, does the realtor know that the house is for sale and it is a passive house?
So we're not passive house, like not certified. Obviously we're a pretty good house, for sure.
Yeah,
But yes, they're when they did the open house, the write-up for the advertisement had a lot of, we use T-Sta. They're talking about permanently broke walls and high performance and a lot of things that everybody else is going to look at and be like, what the hell are they talking about? Probably. But they understand the, they put in there, I'm pretty sure they put in, obviously energy efficient because that's, things people think of first. And I think they said, comfortable. I think I even got them put comfortable house. I don't know if they put healthy, but yeah, they highlighted, low voltage system, all that stuff. And see, that's the other thing. We'll be able to run lights in that house on that low voltage system. It won't run in the lights on that. Well, it won't take nothing from that solar.
Dude.
That's
So,
smart.
yeah,
Really
low
good.
voltage.
Yep, we'll tap into that thing real quick.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
What a cool thing. I can't wait to get the situation going here at the school. I can't believe we're doing this at high school. And also, thank you again for the people that have jumped in the meetings. We'll have a meeting tomorrow, Thursday. We do it every week just so that they stay on track. It really has helped. They are used to talking about their project and making changes now. That weekly meeting thing is a real superpower. I learned that from the people in California. I know it seems obvious, but it's like, I don't know. I never did that before. So now the weekly meeting where you talk about your project, you just show it, people just punch holes in it, and then you just fill those holes the next week, So thanks for coming into those meetings. Those are really, and people, and the kids feel great about it. They're into it, So that was Peter jumped in. I think Duke jumped in. Tim did it. Nick, you're probably teaching or something. I understand if you can't make it, it's no big deal. And then Matt jumped in every so often, which is pretty cool. All right, well, let's wrap it up there. I'm going to end the recording. I think that was pretty good. Anybody want to add anything else before we go?
You got a meeting tomorrow?
Yeah.
I'll be there.
All right, perfect. They're making some changes. They're going to it's going to have a food truck feel to it, where they're going to have a space for where to reheat the food. They're coordinating with the there's a caterer who deals with all the food at the school, and so they're working with him, and they really enjoyed the meeting with them. And I think that comes from talking to adults, that it's a normal thing now. So you guys are like, the benefits of you guys coming in is happening. but you might not see it on a daily basis. So you'll see it tomorrow, which is cool. All right.
No, it's good. They explain themselves really well. They present well. They relate. Yeah, they're coming out of their shyness of it, and I don't know how they regard us from the outside coming in, viewing what they're doing. But yeah, we can share our experience and our knowledge into what they're doing.
Well, you guys are like aliens coming in. You know, it's like they never met you, and you're like all of a sudden you have knowledge and you care about their project. I mean, this is like that's what schools should be doing. That's a big deal, you know. Kind of like with Matt's team. I'm sure their kids are freaking out. Like, Matt, what's it like when your kids get to meet like the T-Stud and Sashko and all Rockwell, and they probably freak out, right?
Yeah, they think it's cool. Obviously, sometimes by time some of these people get here, if they've taken the time to jump on Instagram and kind of see what kind of following or what's going on, you know, like I remember the first time they figured out who Steve Basic was, and they're like, "Yo, he's got like 10,000 followers." I'm like, "I know." And now I think he's probably like 40,000 or something. I don't even know where he's at, but
yeah,
they're like, "That's kind of a big deal." I'm like, "I know." Or Matt Reisinger, you know, is 100,000 and stuff. You know, I'm like, "I know." Those guys they think you guys are really cool. They're like, "Yeah," you know. So once they see that they can get liked by the cool people and stuff, you know, then it starts becoming fun. So the ones that start checking it out and start understanding the scope of what these people do, you know, because obviously, unless they're just interested in building and stuff, they don't just follow these people, right? I don't even know who they follow on Instagram or TikTok or whatnot. But once they start seeing, correlating that they're industry leaders or content creators or, you know, influencers, then the gears start turning and they start realizing. But they love it they always love when people come, because they always usually bring them stuff. You know, they get free swag, so or free food. So we try to get people on job site as much as possible. It's always a fun day.
Well,
plus it's easy for me. I just stand back and watch.
Well, I'll turn it back to Peter. Peter, we need you. Do you have a logo and an Instagram? We got to get you going, man.
I don't do much on the social side. No, I don't have a logo to say about. But sorry.
I have a vision.
You have. Good. I'm willing to listen.
I'm stealing it from Tim right now. We got to get a picture of you with your feet up, and like you just have like, and it just says retired engineer, and we just ask me anything. I don't know, something like that. Where like, you know, I don't know.
That's large.
It's good. I don't know. You know, it's just, I like it. You're kind of like, you know, you're like, oh, listen, I've been on the roof before. I've been in the basement. I've been out there sideways. I've been all this, you know, I got you, you know, type of thing. I don't know. We got to get you a thing. That would be cool.
I just removed some drywall and took out the corner fireplace from a neighbor's house.
There you go, man.
Disassembled, removed, and yeah, so he wanted it out. It'll be bricked up outside by others later.
Oh man, you don't stop, man. That's good. All right, well, let's wrap up the recording here. This was a pretty good episode. This was covered a lot of stuff. Duke, you got anything before we go? No, good. Okay, that's it. All right, Shop Class Podcast. Oh, just one word. Next week, I'm thinking about doing a safety episode. Timmy's kids triggered the saw stop today, and I got whacked in the head. I hope I'm acting normal, but I'm not normal, so it's hard to tell. But I got hit so hard, I went home. I was like, I'm done for the day. So shop safety, I think, is a major thing, and we should probably do a whole episode about it. So if you guys want to bring in the shop safety, let's do that next week. And then the week after is the 15th or something like that. And that is Tay Kang from Harbor Freight. He's coming in to talk about the winners. So we got next 2 weeks are some good episodes. All right, that's basically it. Shop Class Podcast. See you next week.